Found deep in the dark silence of space, a giant alien ship floated near a dying star. The human salvage team moved carefully, their lights cutting through the dust. At the end of a broken corridor, they found a metal pod sealed shut. When they opened it, a strange alien lay inside, its body broken, its skin torn, metal wires stuck in its back. It didn't move. It only blinked once, slowly. "It's dead," someone said. But Tessa, the young engineer, knelt beside it. She saw something in its eyes. Not death, not fear, a silent scream, a deep, living pain. Tessa couldn't sleep. That alien's eyes followed her in her mind, full of pain, not evil. The others wanted to report it and leave, but she made a choice. In the dark of the cargo bay, she hid the alien inside her tool crate and sealed it shut. No one saw her. No one knew. When the salvage ship turned back toward Earth, Tessa stole a small escape. Pod she escaped into deep space, alone, hunted. As she floated through the stars, a weak voice came from the crate. 3 broken words. Slow, quiet. I was forgotten. And Tessa's blood turned cold. Tessa reached an old, abandoned space station hidden inside an asteroid field. It was cold, empty, but safe. She opened the crate and carefully pulled the alien out. Its body was badly damaged, legs twisted, metal parts melted into flesh. She gave it water, cleaned its wounds. It watched her, silent but alive. She whispered, "You're safe now." Slowly, the alien lifted one hand and touched her arm. Pain filled its eyes. Real pain, not machine pain, not program pain, human pain. Tessa named him Rilak. That night, he made a sound, soft, shaking. He was crying. And he didn't even know why Tessa couldn't stop herself from digging deeper. She hacked into the old station's records, hoping to find something, anything, that could explain what Rilak was. As she accessed military files, her heart sank. She uncovered a hidden project labeled Throwaway. It was about the Varnock, Empire using alien soldiers as weapons, only to discard them when they were no longer useful. Rilak wasn't just a casualty, he was a failed weapon, abandoned to die in space. The documents showed how they'd left him behind, alone, because he refused to kill. He had been thrown away like trash. Rilak was not broken, he was just kind as. Tessa pieced together the truth. Her heart raced. The universe knew about Rilak, and now they were hunting him. Human military ships sent a message. "Return the alien immediately." Tessa didn't hesitate. She knew she couldn't go back. Not now. Not after what she had learned. As she prepared the escape pod, the comms crackled with an incoming message. A Varnock ship was nearby, scanning for signs of life. Tessa had no choice but to flee deeper into uncharted space, leaving the human military behind. She looked at Rilak, who was trembling with fear, and whispered, "They want you back, but I'll protect you." As they drifted deeper into the blackness of space, something inside Rilak began to stir. His mind flickered with fragments of forgotten memories, his body shaking with the effort to remember. Tessa noticed the changes. His breathing quickened, his eyes became sharper, as if he was fighting against something deep within. Then, in a moment of clarity, Rilak spoke, his voice hoarse and broken. "I remember. The battle. The pain." Tessa listened as he described his past. How he had been forced to kill, how he had refused, and how they had discarded him as a failure. The truth hit her like a comet. Rilak wasn't just abandoned. He had been left alive because he chose mercy, and that was the one thing the Varnock could not allow. Tessa couldn't stay hidden forever. She hacked into a long-forgotten broadcast station, hoping to send a message to Earth. It was risky, sending, Any signal in space could give away their position, but she couldn't keep running. As she prepared the broadcast, Rilak's trembling voice reached her from the shadows. "Tell them, I am not what they think." With shaking hands, Tessa sent the message out. "To Earth, to the galaxy. I was wrongfully abandoned. I was left to die, but I'm alive. I am a being of peace. I refuse to be forgotten." The signal spread across the stars, and for the first time, Rilak's voice was heard. The universe began to listen. The broadcast sent shockwaves across the galaxy. Earth's military leaders demanded an explanation, but the message was undeniable. Rilak, the alien they had cast aside, was not a monster. He was a victim. People everywhere started questioning the lies they'd been fed about the Varnock. On a massive council broadcast, Rilak was brought before a human assembly. His face was scarred, but his eyes were filled with something unexpected: hope. The Varnock had thought him broken. They had feared his compassion, but now he stood tall, and his voice echoed, "I was not made to destroy. I was made to choose." The room fell silent. Rilak wasn't a threat. He was a symbol. And in that silence, something deep shifted. Humanity had no choice but to confront the truth. Tessa watched as Rilak stood before the council, the weight of his words pressing down on everyone in the room. The Varnock were watching too, their ships silently. Surrounding Earth, tensions were high. Some leaders wanted to give Rilak back, to end this peacefully, but Rilak wouldn't allow it. "I will not be a pawn in your games," he said, his voice filled with quiet strength. He turned to the assembly. "You cannot continue to live in the shadow of lies. You must choose, embrace the truth or remain enslaved to fear." For the first time, the people of Earth began to rise, protesting the war and demanding answers. The Varnock's power was slipping. They couldn't fight this truth. The universe was watching, and Earth had a choice: to either burn the old lies or face the consequences of continuing the war. Rilak had shown them a way out. Now, it was up to them to take it. The days that followed were a whirlwind of decisions, debates, and protests. Earth was divided. Some still clung to old alliances, while others demanded a new path, one based on truth and unity. The Varnock grew desperate. But Rilak's words couldn't be erased. The world saw him, truly saw him for the first time, not as a weapon, but as a being capable of compassion. As Earth's leaders gathered in the Grand Assembly Hall, Rilak stood once more before them. His voice, steady and calm, filled the room. "What you throw away still lives. It still feels." The final truth struck hard. Earth could no longer ignore the suffering they had allowed. In a historic vote, they rejected the Varnock's demands for war. Rilak was given sanctuary. He was not a weapon. He was a symbol of the humanity that had always been inside them, waiting to be awakened. The universe had changed, not through war, but through understanding, and for the first time, Rilak wasn't forgotten. He was home.